Rock on the track, man.
Yeah. Whoa. We've been together for a long time. Not just my friend, but you're my lifeline. Keep us moving forward, never rewind. So I had to press pause to let you know you're just so special. My favorite song to sing is your name slow. Hey, we be rocking perfect tempo. I ain't never gonna let go. 'Cause life's just better when I try to understand what's so good. I wouldn't change one thing if I could. Baby, you're just so crazy, sexy, cool like TLC. Wanna give you a child, name of destiny. My love is right here, it's WVC. You got me loving like the 90s. Can we escape for a minute? Wanna taste your candy? Come to my brownstone and go crazy if you love me. Can't you see what you do to me? You got me loving like the 90s. You ain't afraid to tell the world that he's mine, and I ain't going nowhere, girl. You got me all the time. You love when I stroke you up all through the night. You gave me something that I could feel. Girl, your love for me is so real. Hey, Mr. DJ, turn it up, I wanna celebrate. Life's just better. It's better, baby. I've tried to understand. It's so your candy. Come to my brownstone and go crazy if you love me, baby. Can't you see what you do to me? You got me loving like the 90s. Crazy, sexy, cool like TLC. Wanna give you a child, name of destiny. My love is right here, it's the WVC. You got me loving like the 90s. Can we escape for a minute? Wanna taste your candy? Come to my brownstone and go crazy if you love me. Can't you see what you do to me? You got me loving like the 90s. Crazy, sexy, cool like TLC. Wanna give you my child, name of destiny. My love is right here. Be right here. No fear. Love is here. easing my frustration. You lift my head up. I'm so far from perfect, but you said I'm worth it. So glad you're not done. I'm glad you're not done. Sing la 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 la. So glad you're not done with me. That's why I sing. It feels so good to know that you love me. La 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 la. I'm like la 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 la. So glad you're not done. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la. Lay it on the keyboard, yeah.
We're gonna learn a little song. Considering all you've done, we wanna thank you. Considering
They was listening. So everybody, let me introduce to you Claude. If you want love, if you want joy, you gotta give to get. If you want miracles, you gotta extend your faith for your deliverance. Oh, if you want love, joy, you gotta give to get. Good God. I'm trying to tell you. Well, oh, my mind, put it in my walk, put it in my talk, renew, do it, God. This ain't a new thing, no. Oh, renew, do it, God. Put it in my walk, yeah. Not the same anymore. That's ain't a new thing, no. Renew, make me over, Lord. Put it in my walk. Oh, oh, oh. My mind. Oh, do it, God. I don't wanna be the way I used to be. Yeah! Oh, yeah! Let the band play. Let the band play. Yeah.
Caught up, I'm thinking about the day that you brought me out. Man, it's been so long, but I know without a doubt, amazing grace and mercy knew about my life if I could tell you. See, it's been nothing pretty. I would be so pity. Hell, a pity and a shame. And you'll never know like I know. Say, hey, hey, hey. I feel like home when he called my name. 'Cause nobody knew where I was. And I go down for the last time. icing on heaven when I heard you ever call and what to do about your life. Just let me tell you, I need you to go right and ready, and ready, go hard and let it go. There's too much to do and too many souls. Say hey, 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 hey. Like oh when he called my name, 'cause nobody knew where I was. And I go down for the last time. Let me tell you, throw in the towel, count me out, and I had nothing to say but again. Nothing to say, and I had nothing to say but again. No, nothing to say. Oh, there's no way I could say I didn't hear your voice. Why would I do that? Tell me why we do that. That's what I prayed for. Went through the pain for. Took on your name for. That's what you came for. Oh, you call me your own. It was something like oh when he called my name. It was something like oh when he called my name. 'Cause nobody knew where I was. And I go down for the last time. Let me tell you, throw in the towel and count me out. And I had nothing to say but again. Nothing to say. And I
Hello, I'm Isaiah Anderson Jr., and I'm proud to be the founding artistic director of a theater that is centering the talents, works, and initiatives of people of color and people of faith. Welcome to the first show of Acts on Stage Theater, our virtual production broadcast of 12 Angry Men. Months ago, we decided that this first production had to be one crucial thing: relevant. Little did we know just how relevant this play would be right now. Of course, anything we put on stage should be entertaining, but Acts on Stage wants to do more than entertain. We want to utilize the arts as a means of activism and to move our audiences, you, from consumption to engagement. That is why right now, all across the country, thousands of people are hosting watch parties and planning to have important conversations about the themes that come up in this story. Themes like racism, prejudice, community, compassion, justice, and injustice. This story is the ultimate illustration of what it looks like to walk in someone else's shoes. The question is, which someone are you? This broadcast is Acts on Stage's gift to you. We hope you are as inspired as you are challenged. And if it leads you to want to send us a gift in return, you can text right now to give right now or at any time. For now, sit back, relax, prepare your heart and mind to go into the jury room with 12 Angry Men. We'll see you at intermission. Until then, peace and God bless.
Murder in the first degree, premeditated homicide, is the most serious charge tried in our criminal courts. You have heard a long and complex case, and it is now your duty to sit down and try and separate the facts from the fancy. One man is dead. The life of another is at stake. If there is a reasonable doubt in your minds as to the guilt of the accused, then you must declare him not guilty. If, however, there is no reasonable doubt, then he must be found guilty. Whichever way you decide, the verdict must be unanimous. I urge you all to deliberate honestly and thoughtfully. You're faced with a grave responsibility. Thank you, gentlemen.
All rise. The jury will now retire. This kid doesn't stand a chance. All right, this way, gentlemen. Oh my God. Oh.
Oh, man. Hey, chewing gum?
No, thank you.
Gum?
No.
Gum?
Thank you. No.
You know something?
I know lots of things. I'm an advertisement.
You know it's hot as hell here.
Would have never known that if he wouldn't have told me, would you?
Suppose not. Kind of forgotten.
Forgotten? I've been sweating all day.
Bet you aren't sweating like that boy in court.
You think they'd at least air condition the damn place?
Air conditioning? In this building? My tax is already high enough.
So this should go fast anyway.
All right, gentlemen, everybody's here. If you need anything, I'll be right outside this door. You just knock.
Did he lock the door?
Yes, he did.
What, do you think we are, crooks?
They lock us up for a little while.
And they locked that kid up forever, and that's cool with me.
Never knew they did that.
Of course they did. What'd you think?
I didn't know. It didn't occur to me.
Shall we all admit right now that it is hot and that it's humid and that our tempers are short?
It's been a pretty hard week.
I feel just fine.
I wonder what's been going on down at the office. You know how it is in advertising. In 6 days, my job could be going in the whole company too. They aren't going like this.
Well, figure this is our duty.
I didn't object to my duty. I just mentioned I might have a job by the time I get back.
Ask him to hire you. He's rich. Ooh, look at the suit.
Is it custom tailored? Yes, it is.
I have an uncle who's a tailor.
How does he do?
Not too well. You know, a friend of his, that's a friend of my uncle, the tailor. Well, this friend wanted to be in this jury in my place.
Why didn't you let him? Shit, I'd have done anything to miss this.
And get caught or something? You know what kind of fine you could pay for something like that? Anyway, this friend of my uncle was on the jury once, about 10 years ago. A case just about like this one.
Really? So what happened?
They let him off. Reasonable doubt. And you know, about 8 years later, they found out that he actually did it anyway. A guilty man, a murder, let loose in the streets.
Did they get him?
They couldn't.
Why not?
A man can't be held in double jeopardy unless it's a hung jury. They can't try a man twice for the same crime.
Well, that ain't gonna happen here.
6 days, hell. They could have finished it in 2. Talk, talk, talk. Did you ever hear so much talk about nothing?
Well, I guess they're entitled to a fair trial.
Fair trial. Everyone gets a fair trial. That's the system. Well, suppose you can't say anything against it.
How'd you like that business about the knife? Did you ever hear such a fake-ass story?
Well, you gotta expect that. You know what we're dealing with.
He bought a switchblade that night.
And then he lost it.
A hole in his pocket.
More like a hole in his father.
An awful way to kill your father. A knife in his chest.
Well, look at the kind of people we are.
What's the matter with you? You got a cold?
Man, a bad one. These hot weather colds can kill you.
I had one last year while I was on vacation, too.
All right, gentlemen. I know it's a little tight in here, but let's take our seats.
Right. I got tickets to the game tonight, and I will not be the only man in the world who has not seen them play yet. All right, Your Honor, start the show.
Hey, well, how about you take your seat? My man at the window.
Oh,
how about you sit there? Sorry.
Look, it's tough to figure, isn't it? The kid kills his father, bing, just like that. What's the element? They let these kids run wild. You know, maybe it serves them right.
There are better proofs than some emotion you may have. Perhaps a dislike for a certain group of people.
We did all agree that it was hot.
And that our tempers will be short.
That's if we disagree. But this is open and shut. Let's get it done.
All right, now. You men can handle this any way you want to. I'm not going to make any rules. If we want to discuss it first, then vote, that's one way. Or we can vote right now and see where we stand.
Let's vote right now. Who knows? Maybe we can go home.
Yeah, let's see who's where.
Right, let's vote now.
Anybody doesn't want to vote?
That was easy.
All right. All those voting guilty, raise your hand. 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, that's 11 for guilty. Okay, not guilty?
What?
Hey, bro, you in left field. Left field.
That's 11-1. 11 guilty, 1 not guilty.
What? Do you really believe he's not guilty?
I don't know.
After 6 days, he doesn't know?
Hell, man, in 6 days, I can learn calculus. This is ABC.
I don't think it's as simple as ABC.
I never saw a guiltier man in my life.
And what does a guilty man look like? He's not guilty until we say he's guilty. Are we to vote on his face?
You sat right there in court, heard the same damn things I did. The man's a dangerous killer, you can see it.
Where do you look to see if a man is a killer?
Oh, hell no.
Tell me, I'd like to know. What are the facial characteristics of a killer? Maybe you know something I don't know.
Look, what is there about the case that makes you think the boy is innocent?
He's 19 years old.
That's old enough. He stabbed his own father 4 inches into the chest. An innocent little 19-year-old kid.
I agree with you that the kid is guilty, but let's try to avoid emotionally colored arguments.
Okay? They listed him a dozen different ways. You want me to go over them?
No.
Well, what about that stupid story?
Okay.
Don't be emotionally colored. My bad. My bad. Go ahead. Do you believe the boy's story?
I don't know whether I believe it or not. Maybe I don't.
What did you vote not guilty for?
Well, there were 11 votes for guilty and It's not so easy for me to send a boy out to die without talking about it first.
Who says it's easy for me?
Or me.
No one. He's still just as guilty whether it's an easy vote or a hard vote.
Is there a problem that I voted fast?
No, not necessarily.
That means yes.
Look, I think the kid is guilty. You couldn't change my mind if you talked for 100 years.
I don't want to change your mind.
Just what do you want then?
I just want to talk for a while. Now look, the boy's been kicked around all his life. You know, his mother was dead since he was 9 years old. This is not a very good start. He's a tough, angry kid. You know why slum kids get this way? Because we knock them over the head once a day, every day. I just believe we should talk about it for a little bit, that's all.
All right, it's hard, sure, but it was hard for me. Everything I got, I fought for. I worked my way through college. That was a long time ago, and perhaps you do forget. I fought, yes, but I never killed.
I know what it's like. I never killed nobody.
I've been kicked around too. Wait until you're the only black man in the ad agency and the big white boy that buys advertising walks in. The promotion's supposed to go to you, goes to someone else. We all know what it's like.
In my country, in Europe, kicking is a science. So let's please try to find something better than that.
I don't have to tell you this, but we don't owe this kid a thing. He got a fair trial, didn't he? You know what that fair trial cost? He's lucky he got it. Listen, we're all men here. You're not going to tell us we have to believe him knowing what he is. I'm from Chicago, and I've been around gangs my whole life. Can't believe a word they say. You know that.
I don't know that. What a terrible thing for a man to believe. Since when is dishonesty a group characteristic? You being from Chicago doesn't give you a monopoly on gangs nor the truth.
All right, it's not Sunday. We don't need a sermon.
What this man says is very stupid and dangerous.
See, this is the kind of shit that pisses me off. When know-it-all niggas try to take over conversations.
I don't see any need of arguing like this. I believe we should be able to behave like gentlemen.
Oh, all right, if you insist.
What does KIA stand for anyway?
Nothing.
If we're going to discuss the case, let us discuss the facts.
I think that's a good point. We have a job to do. Let's do it.
If you gentlemen don't mind, I'm going to close the window.
Oh, we mind.
It was blowing on my neck.
You must be out your goddamn mind. I need the window open.
Thank you. But it was blowing on me.
It is summer.
No.
It's summer. It's hot. Don't you want a little air?
Thank you.
It was very uncomfortable.
There are 12 men here. It's the only window. If you don't mind.
I have some rights too.
So do the rest of us.
Couldn't you just trade chairs with someone else? Please.
All right, if someone wouldn't mind.
Here, take my chair.
Let's get on with it.
Wow.
Shall we get on with the case?
I may have an idea here. I'm just thinking out loud now. But it seems to me that it's up to us to prove to this gentleman that we're right and he's wrong. Maybe if we each talk for a minute or two, we could try it on for size.
That sounds fair enough.
Very fair.
Right. We'll start with you.
Well, I just think he's guilty. Thought it was obvious.
Well, in what way was it obvious?
I mean, no one proved otherwise.
No one has to prove it otherwise. Innocent until proven guilty. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. The defendant doesn't have to open his mouth. It's the Constitution. The Fifth Amendment, you heard of it, right?
Everyone has.
Well, yeah, sure, I've heard of it. I know what it is. What I meant was, anyway, I think he's guilty.
No reason, just guilty. There is a life at stake here.
Okay, let's get to the facts. Number one, let's take the old man who lived on the second floor, right underneath the room where the murder took place. At 10 after 12 on the night of the killing, he said he heard loud noises in the upstairs apartment. Said it sounded like a fight. Then he heard the kid say to his father, "I'm going to kill you." And a second later, he heard a body fall. He runs to the door of his apartment, looks out, and sees the kid running down the stairs out of the house. Then he called the police. They found the father with a knife in his chest.
And the coroner fixed the time of death around midnight.
Right. Now what else do you want?
It doesn't seem to fit.
The boy's entire story is flimsy. He claimed to be at the movies. That's a little ridiculous, isn't it? He couldn't even remember what picture he saw.
That's right. Did you hear that? You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and he didn't even have a ticket stub.
Who keeps a ticket stub for the movies?
That's true enough.
I guess. The cashier didn't remember him.
The ticket taker didn't either.
Look, what about the woman across the street? If her testimony don't prove it, nothing does.
That's right, she did see the killing.
Let's go in order.
Nah, hold up. Here's a woman who's lying in bed. Can't sleep, it's hot, you know? Anyway, she wakes up, looks out the window, and across the way, she sees a kid stick a knife into his father.
Then how can you really be sure it was the kid that she saw through the window of a passing train?
Well, she's known the kid all his life. His window sits directly opposite across the tracks. And she swore she saw him do it.
I heard her swear to it.
Okay, and they proved that you can look through the window of a passing train at night and see what's happening on the other side. They proved it.
Now, weren't you just saying a few minutes ago you can't trust them, you can't believe them?
So
let me ask you this. How come you believe her testimony? She testified she was in a gang too, didn't she?
You know, you're a real smart ass. You know that?
Now take it easy.
Come on, sit down. Huh? What are you letting him get you all upset for? Chill out.
Gentlemen, they did take us out to the woman's room, and we were able to look through the windows of a moving train, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And weren't you able to see what happened on the other side?
I didn't see as well as they said I would, or that they told me, but I did see what happened on the other side.
You see? Do you see?
Let's calm down. Damn. It's your turn.
You know, I'll pass.
That's your privilege. How about you?
I don't know. I started to convince myself, you know, with the testimony from the people across the hall. Didn't they say something about an argument between the boy and his father around 7 o'clock? I mean, I can be wrong.
I think it was 8 o'clock, not 7.
Yeah, that's right. 8 o'clock.
Right. They heard the father hit the boy twice, and then they saw the boy walk angrily out of the house.
Right.
And what does that prove?
It doesn't prove anything. It's just part of the picture. I didn't say it proved anything.
Anything else?
No.
I don't know. I think it's all been said already. I think we're wasting our time.
Well, I don't.
Neither do I. Go on.
All right, let's look at the boy's record. He was arrested for stealing a car. I think he said he got arrested for mugging, and he stabbed somebody in the arm.
They did. They did.
He was picked up for knife fighting, and at 15, he was in reform school.
And he was sent to reform school for stabbing someone.
This is a very fine boy?
Ever since he was 5 years old, his father beat him regularly. He used his fist.
So would I on a kid like that.
You're right. It's the kids, you know. The way they are, they don't listen. My own kid, when he was 8 years old, I seen him run away from a fight. I was so embarrassed. I told him right then and there, I'm gonna make a man out of you, I'm gonna bust your ass trying. When he was 15, he hit me in the face and I threw his ass out and I ain't seen him in 3 years. Rotten, grateful ass boy. I hate tough kids. You work your ass to the bone and give them what they...
Come back, Lassie.
Wow.
Well, all right. Let's just get on. Let's get on.
Wow. We're missing the point here.
Yeah.
This boy, let's say he is a product of a filthy neighborhood and a broken home. We can't help that. We're not here to go into reasons why slums are breeding grounds for criminals. Some of them are. I know it, and so do you. The children who come out of slum backgrounds are potential menaces to society.
You said it there. I don't want any part of them. Believe me.
All right. I was a slum kid too. You know?
Just a second,
no,
man.
I'll say
Hold
it.
on, just a second.
Nah, let me finish. I played in a backyard that was filled with garbage. And maybe it still smells on me.
Now let's be reasonable. There's nothing personal.
There is something personal here.
Stop patronizing me. Stop patronizing me. I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid.
Come on. He didn't mean you. Let's not be so sensitive.
Who did he mean?
I can understand his sensitivity.
All right, let's stop the bickering.
Yeah, as if we already haven't wasted enough time.
It's your turn. Now, all right. I had a peculiar feeling about this trial. Now, somehow I felt the defense counsel never really conducted a thorough cross-examination. Too many questions left unasked.
While it doesn't change my opinion of the guilt of the kid, still, I agree with you. The defense counsel was bad.
So this is a point.
What about facts?
So many questions were left unanswered.
What about the questions that were answered? For instance, let's take that cute little switchblade. You know, the one that fine, upright kid admitted buying.
All right, let's talk about it. Let's get it in here. Mr. Foreman, I'd like to see that knife, please.
We all know what it looks like. I don't see why we have to look at it again. What do you think?
The gentleman has a right to see exhibits and evidence.
Okay, by me.
The knife is a pretty strong piece of evidence. Don't you agree?
I do.
Let's get to the sequence of events right as it relates to the switchblade.
The boy did admit going out of his house at 8 o'clock after being slapped by his father.
Or punched.
Or punched. He went to a neighborhood store and bought a switchblade. The storekeeper was arrested the following day when he admitted to selling it to the boy.
I think we all agree it's a pretty unusual knife. Pretty hard to forget something like that.
The storekeeper later on identified that the knife was only one of its kind he had in stock. Why did he get it?
As a present for a friend, he says.
Am I right so far?
You're right so far.
You bet he's right. Now listen to this man. He knows what he's talking about.
Next, the boy claims that the knife must have fallen through a hole in his coat pocket and that he never saw it again. Now that's the story, gentlemen. You all know what happened. The boy took the knife home and a few hours later stabbed his father with it and even remembered to wipe off the fingerprints. Thank you. Everyone connected with this case has identified this knife. So, you're trying to tell me that someone picked it up, the knife that the boy bought off the street, went up to the boy's house, and stabbed his father with it?
No, I'm just saying that it's possible that the boy lost the knife and that someone else had a similar knife, and it's possible.
Take a look at the knife. It's a very strange knife. I've never seen one like it before in my life. Neither had the storekeeper who sold it to him. Are you trying to make us accept a pretty incredible coincidence?
I'm not trying to get you to accept anything. I'm just saying it's possible.
And I'm saying it's not possible.
I don't know.
What are you doing?
Man, who do you think you are?
Just look at it. It's the same knife.
Quiet. Let's be quiet.
Where did you get this?
I got it at the junk store around the corner from the boy's house. It cost $2.
Now listen to me.
I'm listening.
You put a very smart trick here, but you proved absolute zero. There could be 10 knives out there like that. So what?
And maybe there are.
The boy lied and you know it.
And maybe he didn't lie. Maybe he did lose the knife. And maybe he did go to the movies. Maybe the reason why the cashier didn't see him because he sneaked into the movies and he was too ashamed to say so. How many of you have ever snuck in the movies once or twice when you were young?
Yeah. I haven't.
Huh? Really? Not even once?
We weren't allowed to go to the movies.
Oh,
wow. And maybe he didn't lie. Do you think he lied?
It's a stupid question. Of course he lied.
Do you think he lied?
You don't have to ask me that. You know my answer. He lied.
What about you?
I don't know.
Now, wait a minute. Listen, What are you, the guy's lawyer? Look, there are 11 of us who still think he's guilty. You're alone. What do you think he's gonna accomplish? If you want to be a jerk and hang this jury, look, he'll be tried again and found guilty, sure as he's born black.
You're probably right.
So what are you gonna do about it? We could be here all night.
It's only one night. A man could die.
Oh, man,
He's
come
right.
on.
That's true. I think we ought to get on with it now.
Right, let's get on with it.
Man, how do you like this guy?
Well, what do you have to say? You're the only one holding up the show.
Obviously, you don't think the boy is guilty.
I have a doubt in my mind.
But you haven't really presented anything to us to make us understand your doubt. There was an old man downstairs. He heard it. He heard the kid shriek it out.
The woman across the railroad track, she saw it.
We know he bought a switchblade that night, but we don't know where he was at. The movies?
Earlier that night, the kid and the father did have a fight.
He's been a violent kid all the way, and while that doesn't necessarily prove anything,
Man, still, you know he's got to be
Hold
guilty.
up, hold up. I got a proposition to make. Listen, I want another vote. And I want you to vote by secret ballot. I'll abstain. If you all still believe he's guilty, I won't stand alone. We can take a guilty verdict into the judge right now.
Perfect. Excuse me.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's roll with it.
Perhaps this is best.
That sounds fair. Everyone agree?
I certainly am.
Guilty, 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 guilty,
That's it.
guilty. Please. That's 6 guilty. Guilty, 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 not guilty. Guilty.
Come on! How do you like that?
Who was it? I think we have a right to know.
All right, who did it? What idiot changed his vote?
Is that a way to talk about a man's life?
Whose life are we talking about here? The life of the dead man or the life of the murderer?
I want to know now.
Excuse me, this was a secret ballot?
No one looked while we did it, but now I want to know.
A secret ballot. We agreed on that term, right? If the gentleman wants to remain anonymous.
What are you talking about? There are no secrets here. I know who it was. You come in here and vote guilty, and some slick preacher tears your heart out with stories about innocent kids who can't help but becoming murderers, so you change your vote. If that isn't the dumbest.
Now hold it.
I agree with you that the kid is guilty, but let's be fair.
Hold it. Be fair. That's what I'm talking about. We're trying to put a guilty man in a chair where he belongs, then all of a sudden we're paying attention to fairy tales.
Hold up. I think
No, you hold it.
Hey, let's try to keep this organized, gentlemen.
It's surely not organized, but let's at least try to be civilized.
I have something to say. I always thought that in this country, a man was entitled to have an unpopular opinion. That's a part of the reason why I moved to this country. I wanted to have the right to disagree.
Do you disagree with us?
Usually I would, but the point that I'm trying to make is, in my country, I'm ashamed to say
Man,
that.
come on, man. Are we going to sit here and listen to the whole history of your country?
It's always wise to bear in mind what has happened in other countries when people aren't allowed to disagree. So let's stick to the subject.
Yes, let's stick to the subject. Why did you change your vote?
Why do you think I did change my
Because
vote?
I do. Now let's get on with it.
The kid has nothing to tell you. He didn't change his vote. I did.
I was going to tell y'all, but you were so sure yourselves.
Sorry. Okay, now,
Maybe you'd like to know why.
let me tell you why that kid
Hey, the man wants to talk.
Thank you. This gentleman chose to stand alone against us. That's his right. He left the verdict up to us. He gambled for support, and I gave it to him. I want to hear more. The count is 10-2.
Awesome. Now, if the speech is over.
Okay, gentlemen, let's take a few minutes to cool off, and we'll just come back. Thank you.
If there was anything in this kid's favor, I'd vote not guilty.
I don't see what it is.
Neither do I. They're clutching at straws.
As guilty as they get. That's the kid, I suppose.
It's that one juror that's holding out, but he'll come around. He's got to. And fundamentally, he seems to be a very reasonable man.
I guess so.
They haven't come up with one real fact that supported a not guilty verdict.
It's hard, you know.
And what does guilty beyond a reasonable doubt truly mean?
What's a reasonable doubt?
Exactly. What is reasonable doubt? You got to have law and order. You have to draw the line somewhere. Because if you don't, everyone will just start stabbing people.
Yeah, not much doubt here.
Too men seem to think so. I wonder why. I really wonder why.
Well, you do hear stories about how innocent men go to jail or death sometimes. Then years later, things turn up.
Right, and some killers get turned loose and they go and do it again. They squeeze out on a technicality and then they kill again.
Look, man, now that we cooled off, I got a little excited earlier. I didn't mean to get nasty, okay? Nothing personal, nothing personal.
No worries, man.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen, let's get back to it.
Right. Hey, suppose you answer me this. The kid didn't kill him. Who else did?
Well, as far as I know, we are to decide whether or not the boy on trial is guilty of murder. We're not concerned about anyone else's motives here.
I suppose, but who else had a motive?
Well, the boy's father was along in years. Maybe an old grudge.
Remember, it's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Everyone's a lawyer. Suppose you tell us what your reasonable doubts are.
Well, it isn't easy. So far, it's only a feeling. A feeling. Perhaps you don't understand.
No, I don't.
Nobody give a damn about your feelings. What about the fact?
That's what's up. Look, the old man heard the boy yell, "I'm going to kill you." And then he heard a body falling. Then he saw the boy running out of the house 15 seconds after that.
Well, where's the reasonable doubt in that?
That's right. And let's not forget about the woman across the street. She actually looked into the open window and saw the boy stab his father. She saw it.
Well, if that isn't enough for you,
it's not enough for me.
What is enough for you?
How do you like him? It's like talking to a dead phone.
The woman saw the killings through the windows of a moving train. The train had 5 cars. The woman saw the killing through the last 2. She remembered the most insignificant details.
Well, what do you have to say about that?
I don't know. It just doesn't seem right to me.
Suppose you think about it. Come on, man. Somebody want to play a game. We might as well pass the time. We'll make an X right here on this.
This is not a game.
No, wait a minute.
This is a man's life.
Who do you think you are?
Who do I think I am? Who do I think I am? Who the fuck are you to question who I am? I am proud, hardworking, God-fearing, respectful, respected, educated, trustworthy, patient, sometimes. I am humble, and I am black. Who am I? I am you.
All right. Take it easy.
I feel like walking around the table and checking his ass. You don't want this.
Man, please, I don't want any fights in here.
Did you see him? Did you see him?
Relax.
How about chill down?
This is not a game.
Read.
Weren't we talking about trains?
Yes, we were.
So?
All right. How long does it take a train going at top speed to pass a given point?
What has to have to do with anything?
How long would it take? Guess.
I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
Neither would I.
I don't think they mentioned it.
What do you think?
Maybe 10 to 12 seconds.
I'd say that's a fair guess. Anyone else?
I'd say about 10 seconds, perhaps.
About 10 seconds, yeah.
Okay, we agree. 10 seconds. What are you getting at?
This. Now, a train passes a given point in 10 seconds. That given point is the window of the room in which the killing took place. You can almost reach out of the window and touch it, right?
Right. I tried it.
All right, now let me ask you this. Did any one of you ever live near train tracks?
I mean, I used to live pretty close.
I have before.
Train makes a lot of noise, right?
Yeah, it's a train.
Now, I've lived next to them. And when the window is open and the train is going by, the noise is almost unbearable. You can't even hear yourself
Okay,
think.
you can't hear yourself. Can you get to the point?
The old man lived downstairs, heard the boy say.
He didn't say it, he screamed it.
The old man heard the boy scream, "I'm going to kill you." And 1 second later, he heard the body fall. 1 second, that's his testimony, right?
Right.
Now, the woman across the street looked out through the window of the last two cars of the train and saw the body fall, right?
Right.
Wait a minute. The last two cars. The last two cars.
I like where you're going with this.
Where are you going with this?
The train takes 10 seconds to pass a given point and 2 seconds per car. The train had been going by the old man's window for at least 6 seconds and maybe more before the body fell, according to the woman. The old man would have had to hear the boy say, "I'm going to kill you," while the train was roaring past his nose. It's not possible that he could have heard it.
What do you mean? Sure, he could have heard it.
With a train going by?
He said the boy yelled it out.
A train makes a lot of noise.
It's enough for me.
It's enough for me, too.
I don't think he could have heard it.
Maybe the old man didn't hear it. I mean, with the train noise.
What are you people talking about? Are you calling the old man a liar?
Something doesn't seem to fit.
Well, it stands to reason.
You're crazy. Why would he lie? What's he got to gain?
Attention. Maybe.
You keep coming up with these bright sayings. Why don't you send one into a newspaper? They might pay you for them.
And what does that have to do with a man's life? Now, why might the old man have lied? You have a right to be heard.
It's just that I looked at him for a very long time. The seam in his jacket was torn under the arm. Did you notice that?
No.
I think I know him better than anyone here. He's a quiet, frightened, insignificant man who's never been anything all his life, who's never had any recognition, his name in the newspapers. This is a very sad thing. A man like this need to be recognized, need to be questioned, listened to, and quoted just once. This is a very important thing for a man.
So you're trying to tell all of us that he lied about such a thing like this?
Just to be important? No, he wouldn't really lie. Possibly he made himself believe that he heard those words and that he recognized the boy's face.
Well, that's the most fantastic story I ever heard of. How can you make up a thing like that?
I'm not making it up.
You must be making it up. People don't lie about those things.
He made himself believe that he was telling the truth.
What do you know about it?
I speak from experience.
What?
I am that same man.
I think we understand now. Thank you.
If you want to admit you're a liar, it's okay with me.
Man, that's too much.
He's a liar. He just said so.
He didn't say he was a liar. He was explaining.
Didn't you just admit you're a liar?
No, I did not.
He was trying to explain the circumstances in which to understand why the old man might have lied.
A liar's a liar. That's all there is to it.
You got problems.
Gentlemen, please. We have our job and our duty here.
I think they covered it.
I hope we have.
All right. Anything else?
Piece of candy?
No thanks.
Anybody want a piece of candy?
No, thank you.
Hello, I'm Michelle Lang Raymond, Executive Managing Director of Acts on Stage, and it has been so incredible to watch this vision come to life. I hope you can feel the energy of this monumental moment coming through your screen. And for those of you hosting discussions, whether in person or through virtual chat, we hope that this helps deepen those conversations. This project was made possible through generous donations from our sponsors and many of you, and we want to take this moment to simply say thanks. Whether you gave at a community partner level or as a platinum sponsor, we know that this historic moment wouldn't be possible without you. Many of you reached out to us because you wanted to make sure today's broadcast happened and because you want to partner with an urban theater that has a long-term commitment to produce high-quality entertainment and to use art as a tool for social change. That is so who we are. And we invite you to continue or begin partnering with us on our mission to serve the community by elevating the arts, the artists, and all audiences. In our first 6 months of operation, Acts on Stage has moved into a facility in one of the most disenfranchised neighborhoods in the city. We've renovated, hired staff, and produced events that are already bringing life and vitality to the community. We've hired over 30 artists of color and faith to produce incredible work like you're seeing here. And not just people on the stage, but writers, producers, designers, people who too often here, don't call us, we'll call you, are already finding their light on our stage. You can become an Acts on Stage partner by making a one-time contribution today, or become a patron by committing to contribute monthly. Your gift helps us to continue to do large projects like this, as well as regular programs that will serve the community. Again, thank you for watching and just being part of this monumental moment. The broadcast will resume in a couple of minutes. That gives you just enough time to replenish your snacks, settle back in, and continue the deliberations with 12 Angry Men.
Welcome to a new Northwest reality.
Acts on Stage is a theater dedicated to centering the creative talents, works, and initiatives of people of color and people of faith. Your theater of choice for change.
Our mission is to change lives dramatically by producing programs and performances that elevate the arts, the artists, and all audiences.
Our vision is to be a driving force behind a new era renaissance where creativity creates change.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us
as we change lives dramatically.
Come on, let's get on with it. All right, gentlemen, I believe we left off with you making your argument.
Thank you. Now, I think we proved the old man couldn't have heard the boy say, I think we proved the old man couldn't have heard the boy yell, I'm going to kill you.
Well, I disagree.
Let's hear him through anyway.
But supposing the old man really did hear the boy say, I'm going to kill you. Now, this phrase, how many of us have heard it hundreds of times? If you do that once more, I'm going to kill you. Or, Ali, kill him. it doesn't really mean we're gonna kill someone, right?
Don't the circumstances alter that somewhat?
I mean, the old man was murdered.
One more thing. The phrase was, I'm gonna kill you, and the kid yelled it at the top of his lungs.
That's the way I understand it.
Now don't tell me he didn't mean it. Anyone who says a thing like that, the way he said it, they mean it.
Of course they mean it. Well, let me ask you this. Do you think the boy would yell out a thing like that so that the whole neighborhood could hear him? He's way too bright for that.
Bright? He's a common, ignorant thug. He don't even speak proper English.
He doesn't even speak proper English.
The boy is clever enough.
I'd like to change my vote to not guilty.
Are you sure?
Very sure.
The vote is 9-3 in favor of guilt.
I'd like to know why you changed your vote.
Because I think there's a doubt.
Where? What is the doubt?
Well, look, there's the knife, right? We went.
Damn! Man, he got you believing fairy tales, didn't he?
Go on, give us the reasons.
And the old man, too. You know, maybe he lied and maybe he didn't lie. You know, maybe the old man just doesn't like the kid.
Well, if that ain't some bullshit.
Look, I think that there's a reasonable doubt.
What are you basing it on? Stories that this guy made up? Listen, the kid had a lawyer, didn't he?
Sure.
So why didn't his lawyer bring up all these points?
Well, clearly the lawyers can't think of everything.
Oh, hell. You come in here and make up stories out of thin air, and we're not supposed to believe that the old man got up out of bed, ran to the door, saw the kid running down the stairs 15 seconds after the killing.
That's the story, I believe.
And the old man swore to it. Yes, he swore to it just so he could be important.
Did the old man say he ran to the door?
Ran, walked, what's the difference? He got there.
I mean, I don't really see how someone like him could run. You know, 2 canes?
He said he went. I remember it now. He said he went from the bedroom to the front door. That's enough, isn't it?
Now, where was that bedroom again?
Down the hall somewhere.
Down the hall somewhere? Are we to send a man to die because it's down the hall somewhere?
Well, I thought you remembered everything. Don't you remember?
No, I don't.
Imagine that.
I don't remember either.
Mr. Foreman, I'd like to see the diagram of the apartment again.
Oh, come on. Why don't we just have them run the whole trial over so you get everything straight?
It's down the hall somewhere. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know exactly where it is? Please, a man's life is at stake here.
Well,
Mr. Foreman.
I heard you.
All right, what's this one for? How come you're the only one in the room who wants to see exhibits all the time?
Hey, I want to see this one too.
So do I.
I think we should all want to see it.
And I want to stop wasting time.
Are we going to start wading through all the nonsense about where the body was found?
No, we're going to find out how a man who had 2 strokes in the past 3 years and who walks with a pair of canes can get from his bedroom to the hall in 15 seconds.
He said 20 seconds.
He said 15.
How does he know how long 15 seconds is? You can't judge that kind of thing.
He said 15. He was very positive about it.
He's an old man. You saw that. Half the time he was confused. How could he be positive about anything? Well, you know.
This what you wanted?
That's right. Thank you.
No problem.
You want this?
Yes, thank you.
Hey, man, do me a favor. Wake me up when this is done.
Man, we looked at this diagram for 2 hours. Enough is enough.
Some of us are interested. Go ahead.
All right, now, this is the apartment in which the killing took place. The old man's apartment is directly beneath it and exactly the same. These are the tracks, the bedroom, living room, bathroom, and kitchen. This is the hall, the front door, and these are the steps. The old man says he got up out of bed, went into the hallway, down the hall, opened the front door, just in enough time to see the boy run down the stairs.
That's the story.
That's what happened.
Now, the bed is near the window. It's 12 feet into the hall, which is 43 feet, 6 inches, all in 15 seconds. Do you think that's possible?
You know it's possible.
I don't see why not.
He would have been in a hurry. He did hear the scream.
He can only walk so fast. I had to help the man into the witness chair.
You make it seem like it's a long walk. It's not.
It's a long walk for an old man that uses canes.
What are you doing?
I want to try something. I want to see how long it took him. I want to pace off 12 steps.
You can't recreate a thing like that.
Perhaps if we could see it, it is an important point.
It's a ridiculous waste of time.
Let him do it.
I don't see any harm in it. Foolish, but go ahead.
This is the door. Now, how far would you say it is from here to the door of this room?
I would say it's 20 feet.
Yeah, just about.
Okay, so from here to the door of this room and back would be 40 feet. Now, that's a shorter distance than the 43 feet that the old man had to move through.
Few feet, maybe.
This is absolutely insane. What makes you think you can do this, Mr. Foreman?
We can't stop him.
Do you mind if I try this? According to you, it'll only take 15 seconds. We can spare that. Does anyone have a watch with a second hand?
I do.
Okay. Stomp your feet when you want me to start. That'll be the body falling.
I'll time you from there.
The old man's cane is at his bedside, right?
Right.
I'm ready.
Hey, man, he said he's ready.
I want the hand to be at 60.
Hey, man, speed it up. He moved twice as fast as that.
This is even more quickly than the old man moved in the courtroom.
No, it isn't. If you want me to go faster, I will.
Speed it up a little.
Stop.
Right.
What's the time?
15, 20, 25, 35, 39 seconds exactly.
No, that can't be.
39 seconds.
Now that's interesting.
Now you know.
What do you think about that?
39 seconds. 39.
And that old cripple swore on his oath that it was 15.
Now, he may have misjudged the time by a few seconds, but 24 seconds off? Well, now you
Far
know.
be it for me to call anyone a liar, and even allow him for quite a difference in speed between the old man and you. Why, still there's quite
a discrepancy.
It's my guess that the old man heard someone racing down the stairs and assumed it was the boy.
I think that's possible.
Assumed? Now listen to me. I've seen all kinds of dishonesty in my day, but this display here takes the cake.
What dishonesty?
Tell him. You come in here with your heart bleeding all over the floor about slum kids and injustice. You make up these wild stories, and you got some soft-hearted old ladies listening to you?
Yes.
Well, I'm not. I'm getting real sick of you. What the hell's the matter with you people? The kid's guilty. He's got to burn. We're letting him slip through our fingers.
Our fingers? Are you his executioner?
I'm one of them.
Perhaps you'd like to pull the switch.
For this kid, you damn right I pull the switch.
I feel sorry for you.
Fuck you.
Gentlemen!
Oh,
Brothers.
He ain't my brother.
What it must feel like to want to pull the switch.
Shut up.
You know what's wrong with you?
I said shut up.
You want the boy to die for your own personal reasons, not based on the facts. You ain't shit.
Shut up. Hey, go. I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
You don't really want to kill me. Do you?
Do you? Do you mean it? How many times have we killed with our words, with our silence, with our bitter past and uncertain future? What role do we play in taking a life? What role do we play in saving one? When I see you, do I see me? When I hurt you, am I hurting myself? Do I focus more on your speck or my beam? Did you mean it?
Is everything all right?
Yes, everything's okay. You can take this back. We're finished with it.
Well, what are you looking at?
I don't see the need of why we have to act like children here.
Nor do I. We have a responsibility that we are, what is the word? That we are notified, yes, that we are notified by mail to come down to this court and decide on the guilt or innocence of a man that we have not known before. We have nothing to gain or to lose by the verdict. That's one of the things that makes us strong. We should not make this a personal thing.
Thank you.
Why do you thank me?
Because we forget, and it's good to be reminded.
I'm happy that we're going to be civilized about this.
Yet, we're still nowhere.
No, we're somewhere. Or getting there. Maybe.
Maybe.
Anybody got any other ideas?
I think maybe we should take another vote. Mr. Foreman?
That's okay with me. Anybody doesn't want to vote?
I want an open ballot. Let's call our votes. I want to know who stands where.
That's fair.
That's fair. Anyone object?
Nope.
All right, I'll call out your jury numbers. I vote guilty. 2?
Not guilty.
3?
Guilty.
4?
Guilty.
5?
Not guilty.
6?
Not guilty.
7?
Guilty.
8?
Not guilty.
9?
Not guilty.
10?
Guilty.
11?
Not guilty.
12?
Guilty.
Man, the real crime is happening in this room.
It's 6-6.
Vote is 6-6.
I'm ready to walk in court right now and declare a hung jury. There's no point in this going on anymore.
Hold on a second. I'd like to know why you changed your mind. And why you changed your mind. And why you did. There are 6 men here who believe we may be turning a murderer loose into the streets. Emotion won't do it. Why?
Look, I'll go first. It would seem the old man didn't see the boy run downstairs. Also, I don't think it's likely he heard the boy scream, "I'm gonna kill you." Old men dream. And if the boy did scream that he was going to kill, then we have the example of this man here to prove that he may not do it. Talk, talk, talk.
Why don't we take it into the judge and let the kid take his chance with 12 other guys?
It's got to be unanimous, and we're never going to convince him.
At first, I was alone. Now 5 others agree. There is reasonable doubt.
You can't ever convince me there is doubt because I know there is no doubt.
I tell you what, maybe we're a hung jury. It happens sometimes.
We're not going to be a hung jury.
But we are, right now, a perfect balance. Let's take it into the judge.
If there is a reasonable doubt, I don't see it.
The doubt is there in my mind.
Maybe we should vote.
Again? What do you mean, vote?
Not again.
Vote on what?
Are we or aren't we a hung jury?
You mean we vote yes, we are a hung jury, or no, we're not a hung jury?
That's just what I was thinking of.
We can't even agree if the window should be open or not.
Let's make a majority vote. Majority wins.
If 7 of us vote yes, that we are a hung jury, then we take it into the judge and tell him that we are a hung jury.
Right. And if 7 or more vote no, that means we aren't a hung jury, and we go on discussing it.
It doesn't seem quite right to me.
It's the only solution.
I agree. It's the only way.
Anything to end this.
Are we agreed then? 7 or more vote yes, and we take it into the judge? I vote yes, we're a hung jury. 2?
No.
3?
Yes.
4?
Yes.
5?
No.
6?
No.
7?
Yes.
8?
No.
9?
No.
10?
Yes.
11?
No.
12?
Yes.
Come on, man!
6-6.
Serious?
We can't even get majority to agree whether or not we're a hung jury.
I went along with the majority vote on this question, and I didn't agree with voting that way. Not really. Really. I still don't. So I changed my vote. I say no, we're not a hung jury. I believe that the boy is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. But there are some things I want to find out from those gentlemen who changed their minds.
Then we aren't a hung jury. So we go on.
Good. Then we go on.
Why did you change your mind?
Well, he seems so sure. And he's made a number of good points while he only gets mad and insults everybody.
Does the anger and insult change the guilt of the boy? He did do it. So you're willing to turn a murderer loose just because a juror gets angry when he thinks a murderer may be turned loose?
That's true.
Look, there is a doubt.
I don't think so. The track is in front of the window. Let's take that point. So the train made a low rumbling noise. Trains screech when they go around curves. So the old man could have heard the scream, which was high pitched. Remember, it's an apartment and they have thin walls.
This is a point.
Good. That's it. That's it.
The old man could have been wrong about how long it took him to get to the door, but right about whom he saw. Please remember there weren't any fingerprints found on the knife, and it is summer, so gloves seem unlikely.
Now I want you to listen to this man. He's making sense.
And it might have taken the murderer a few seconds to find something to wipe all the fingerprints away.
This is a point.
Why don't we time this one just to see?
Just what are we timing?
Listen, all I'm saying is that the old man may have been wrong about the time it took him to get to the door, but right about whom he saw running down the stairs. If the murderer would have took 39 seconds to commit the murder, wipe all the fingerprints away, and run down the hall to get to the spot where the old man saw him, the boy, that is.
That's what I'm talking about.
We reconstructed the old man getting out of bed and going to the door, and we timed that. Now let's reconstruct the actual crime.
As well as we can reconstruct it.
I think a murderer could use up to 30, 40 seconds at that point.
Let's reconstruct the killing.
Here, you do the stabbing.
No, I'll do it.
Here, you'll be the one to get stabbed. You're doing it to me. And hey, don't forget, you take a second to fall.
The father was found on his side, his right side. So fall and roll into your right side. If someone is angry enough to commit murder, don't you think it's quite reasonable to assume that person may look at his victim for a second or two?
Divorce yourself from this particular part of the case, just human nature.
Yes, that sounds reasonable.
Hey, wait a minute. He falls and ends up on his right side. The father did. But stabbing someone isn't like shooting them, even if it's directly in the heart. The father would have moved around for a few, laying there on the floor, maybe squirming.
That's quite possible. He would have enough oxygen in his system to carry him for a few seconds, I should think.
Wouldn't the father have cried out?
Maybe the kid held his mouth.
That also seems possible.
There's another point to bring out here. If someone is clear enough mentally to murder someone and wipe all the fingerprints away, well, that same person may be clear enough mentally to look around the apartment, or the room in this case, for clues. It would have taken him a few seconds, but still, he will look around.
This gets better and better.
We're just trying to make it clear. No one talks about quality when murder is involved. Well, let's do it.
Yeah, that's...
About this on the fingerprints. The kid wiped the fingerprints off the knife. Well, what about the doorknob? If I saw a man coming into my home, a man that hated me, and if he were wiping the doorknob with something as he came in, it would give me an uneasy feeling. So the doorknob must have been wiped off after the killing. And this too would take some time.
I agree. You timed the last one. Can you time this one as well?
All right.
Stomp your foot when you want me to start.
I want the hand to be at 60.
Okay, I'm gonna do this and catch it. Okay. I'm gonna kill you.
Ah!
He will wipe off both knobs. Stop.
20, yeah. 20, 25. About 29 and a half seconds, I'd say.
And whoever did murder the old man, and I think it was the kid, he still had to run down a hall and run down the stairs, at least one flight of stairs.
You see? You see?
So the old man may have been wrong about the time it took him to get to the door, but in view of this, I think it's quite reasonable to assume that he did in fact see the boy.
That also seems possible.
So now both time sequences checked. The one you did and the one we did with running downstairs and everything.
And
it does pretty much check on times.
And the old man. The old man is an old man who wants attention. But the old man thinks like everybody else does. A life is at stake.
So the story of the old man may well be true.
Except for the fact that he absolutely swore under oath that it took 15 seconds.
And we all seem to agree that it took 25 to 40 seconds later.
So you are now admitting that the old man lied in one case and told the truth in another? I admit that where it does confirm the story of the old man, in part, he is now a proven liar. And this is by his own admission.
That may be true that the old man lies in part, but I think it'll change my vote once more. Guilty.
What about you? What do you think?
I don't know what I think. I want to talk some more. At first I was for guilty, but then I changed. But now I'm starting to swing back towards guilty again.
And what about you?
I am now in doubt. Real doubt.
Look, I say guilty. I was right the first time.
Seems to be about 9 guilty to 3 not guilty.
Now we're beginning to make sense in here.
One more question about the old man downstairs. Have you all ever lived in an apartment building?
I don't know what you're thinking, but I know what I'm thinking.
What is that?
I do not live in an apartment building, but it is just close enough that you can see it to the end of the hall. And the light bulbs are very small. And this murder took place in an apartment building. Remember how we stumbled on the steps?
Yeah, and the police had big bulbs. One even had a flashlight.
An old man who misjudged the time by 20 seconds. On that, we all agree. But he looked at the end of the hall and saw a running figure?
He was 100% wrong about the time. It took twice as long as he thought.
Then couldn't he be 100% wrong about who he saw?
What are you talking about? You're making it up out of thin air.
We're a hung jury. Let's be honest about it.
Do you truly feel that there is no room for reasonable doubt?
I do.
Perhaps you don't understand the term reasonable doubt.
What do you mean I don't understand the term? Who are you to talk to me that way? Look at this guy. You believe him? Comes over here running for his life, and then before he can take a big breath, he's telling us how to run the show?
No one here is asking where anyone came from.
I was born right here.
Or where their father came from.
You know, maybe it wouldn't hurt for us to take some tips from someone who comes running here. We're not so perfect.
Please, I am used to this. It's all right.
It's not all right.
Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. Is that what you want?
That's what I want.
All right, let's stop arguing. Who got something constructive to say?
Well, something's been bothering me a little. The whole business about the stab wound and how it was made. The downward angle of it, you know?
Don't tell me we're gonna start that again. They went over and over in court.
I know they did, but I don't go along with it. The boy is 5 feet 8 inches tall. His father was 6'2". That's a difference of 6 inches. It's a very awkward thing to stab downward into the chest of someone who's half a foot taller than you are.
You're not gonna be satisfied till you see it again. I'll give you a demonstration. Somebody get up.
I just went. I'm not doing it again.
Okay, I don't want to have to do this once, so pay attention. Is this 6 inches?
That's more than 6 inches.
Okay, let it be more.
Hey! That's not funny.
What's the matter with you?
All right, calm down. Nobody's hurt. Are they?
No, no one's hurt.
Okay, take a look at it. There's your angle, down and in. That's how I stabbed a taller man in the chest. That's how it was done. Go on, look at it and tell me I'm wrong.
Down and in. I guess there's no argument.
You ever stab a man?
Of course not.
What about you?
All right, now let's not be silly.
Have you?
No, I didn't.
Well, where do you get your information about how it was done?
What are you talking about? It's just common sense.
Have you ever seen a man stabbed?
No.
I have.
Well, let me ask you something. Now, the boy was an experienced knife fighter, and he went to reform school for stabbing someone, right?
That's right.
Now, isn't this an awkward way of handling the knife for someone that's an experienced knife fighter?
What are you asking me for?
Wait a minute. What's the matter with me? Let me see the knife.
Have you ever seen a knife fight?
Of course I have.
Where? In the movies?
Man, my own backyard, my front steps, vacant lot across the street. The switchblades just happened to come with the neighborhood that I grew up in. And, you know, it's funny that I didn't even think about it before, but I guess you try to forget about those things. Look, anyone that's ever handled one of these knows that you don't use it overhanded. That's just awkward. Like, you use it underhand.
So then it couldn't have been the type of wound that an experienced knife fighter would make, right?
Well, I mean, sure, someone like him could make the wound if they had no experience, but we all know that he's had a lot of experience with the switchblades.
I don't believe it.
Me neither. Y'all are speaking a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo.
You don't know it.
Listen, I'll tell you all something. I'm getting sick of this thing already. We're getting nowhere fast. Let's break it up and go home.
Before we decide on anything more, I'd like to try and pull this thing together.
Oh, this should be good.
He has a right. Let him go ahead.
You want me to time this too?
Let's hear it. I'm in advertising. I'm used to the big shots pulling things together. Let's chip up a few shots, see if any of them land on the green.
Now, I want you all to look at this logically and consistently.
We have guilty.
I want to know, is the kid smart or is he dumb?
What do you mean?
This kid who has gone to reform school for knife fighting, the night of the murder, he bought a knife, a switchblade. It would then take a very stupid kid to go and murder his father with an instrument that everyone would associate with the kid.
I quite agree. He's dumb.
However, if he were dumb, then why did he make the kind of wound that an inexperienced knife fighter would make?
I don't think I understand.
To murder someone must take great emotion, great hatred. And at that moment, he would have handled the knife as best as he could. And a trained knife fighter would handle it as he had been trained, underhanded. A man who had not been trained would go overhanded. But the kid was being very smart. Everyone knows that he was an experienced knife fighter. So he was smart enough at that moment to make the kind of wound that an amateur would make. That man is smart. Smart enough to wipe the fingerprints away. Perhaps even smart enough to wait until the train was going by to cover the noise. Now, is this kid smart or is he dumb?
Hey, now wait a minute.
Well, the lady across the track said that she saw the murder through the train as it was going by. So maybe somebody on the train seen the murder too.
It's a possibility, but no one did that we know of.
Well, it would take an awfully dumb man to do the murder, to take the chance as the train was going by.
Exactly. A dumb man, a very stupid man, a man swept by emotion. Probably he heard nothing. He probably didn't even hear the train coming. And whoever did murder the man, he did as well as he could. The kid is dumb enough to do everything to associate himself with the switchblade, a switchblade murder. And then a moment after the murder, he became smart. Then the kid is smart enough to make the kind of wound that would lead us to suspect someone else. And yet, at the same instant, he is dumb enough to do the killing as the train is going by. And then a moment later, he is smart enough to wipe away the fingerprints. To make the boy guilty, you have to say he is dumb from 8 o'clock until midnight. And then about midnight, he is smart enough for 1 second, and then dumb for a few seconds. And then smart again, and then once again, he becomes stupid. So stupid that he does not think of a good alibi. Now, is the kid smart or is he dumb? To say that this boy is guilty, you have to toss his intelligence like a pancake. There is doubt. 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 And the old man downstairs, on the stand, he swore that it was 15 seconds. He insisted that it was 15 seconds. But we all know that it took as much as 40 seconds.
So does the old man lie half the time and tell the truth the other half of the time?
For the kid to be guilty, he must be stupid, then smart, then stupid, then smart, and so on. And also for the kid to be guilty, the old man downstairs must have lied half the time and the other half told the truth. You can reasonably doubt.
I'm sold on reasonable doubt.
I think I am too.
I wanted more talk, and now I've had it.
I want another vote.
Oh my God.
All right, another vote is called for. I guess the quickest way is a show of hands. Anyone object? All right, all those voting not guilty, raise your hand. 9. Okay, all those voting guilty?
Vote is 9-3 in favor of acquittal.
I don't understand you people. How can you believe this little nigga's innocent? You know how they lie. I don't have to tell you that. They don't know what the truth is. And you know, they don't even need a real reason to kill someone either. They get high and bang, someone's lying on the gutter. Nobody's blaming them. That's just how they are. You know what I mean? Violent. Human life doesn't mean as much to them as it does to us. Hey, where are you going? Man, listen, these animals is drinking, getting high, fighting all the time, and if somebody gets killed, so somebody gets killed, they don't care. Okay. Sure, there might be, what, 1 or 2 good out of the bunch. Be the first to admit that.
Okay.
I've known a couple that are pretty decent, but most of them, it's like they have no feelings. They don't give a damn about themselves, their family, their community, nothing. They just do anything. But what is going on here? I'm trying to spay my peace, and man, these animals, don't you know about them? Man, hey, listen to me, I'm trying to tell you guys something, but nobody...
I've had enough. If you open your mouth again, I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
Man, I'm only trying to tell you guys something.
All right, everybody sit down. Please. I still think the boy is guilty of murder. And I'll tell you why. To me, the most damning evidence came from the woman who lived across the tracks, who saw the murder committed.
That's right. As far as I'm concerned, that's the most important testimony.
Well, all right, let's go over her testimony. What exactly did she say?
I can recount it accurately. She went to bed about 11 o'clock. Her bed is right next to the window. She tossed and turned for over an hour, unable to fall asleep. Then about 12:10, she looked out the window and saw the boy stab his father. To me, this is unshakable testimony.
That's what I'm saying. That's the whole case.
Frankly, in view of this, I don't see how any of you can vote for an acquittal. What do you think?
Well, maybe. There's so much evidence.
What do you mean, maybe? You can throw out all the other evidence.
That was my feeling as well. Listen, I don't deny the validity of all the points that you have made. Let's say on one side of the tracks there is doubt. But what can you say about the story of the woman? She saw it.
Hey, what time is it?
10 minutes to 6.
You don't think they let us come back in the morning and finish this? I got a kid at home with the flu.
I'm sorry, man, not a chance.
Can you see the clock without your glasses?
Not clearly.
Oh.
Glasses are a nuisance, aren't they?
Well, what do you do at night when you need to know what time it is?
I put on my glasses and look at the clock.
I just wait for my clock to chime. My father gave it to me as a gift for our wedding, my wife and I. We took about 10 years before we could find a place to put it.
Do you all ever wear your glasses to bed?
Of course not. Nobody wears their glasses to bed.
The woman who testified that saw the murder, she wears glasses. What about her?
Did she wear glasses?
Yes, they were bifocals, and they were quite strong. I remember that quite clearly.
That's right. Bifocals. She never took them off.
Funny. I never thought of that.
I think it's logical to say the woman was not wearing her glasses when she went to bed, and I don't think that she would have put them on to casually glance out the window. She testified that the murder took place the instant that she looked out the window and the lights went out. One split second later. She couldn't have had time enough to put them on, but perhaps she thought she saw the boy, but I say she only saw a blur.
How do you know what she saw? Maybe she's farsighted. How does he know these things?
Does anyone not believe that there's reasonable doubt?
You know, I always wonder if there's reasonable doubt. I think the kid's guilty.
Anyone else?
No. I'm convinced there is a reasonable doubt.
You're alone.
11 votes. Not guilty, 1 guilty.
I don't care whether I'm alone or not. Look, I have a right to feel any way.
Yes, you have a right.
Well, I think the kid's guilty. What more do you want?
Your arguments.
I gave you my argument.
We're not convinced. We have time.
Listen, what's the matter with you? You're the man. You made all the arguments. A guilty kid's gonna be walking the street, a murderer. He's got to die. Stay with me.
I'm sorry. I'm convinced. I don't think I'm wrong often, but perhaps I was this time. There is reasonable doubt in my mind.
We're waiting.
You're not going to intimidate me. I'm entitled to my opinion. It's going to be a hung jury. That's it.
We can't do anything about that. But except someday, maybe in a few months, you might get some sleep.
Just face it, man. You're alone.
Takes a great deal of courage for a man to stand alone.
If we are a hung jury, there will be another trial. And some of us will point these things out to the various lawyers.
So what?
They're waiting. Not guilty. You know, it's not too late for you and your son. Not guilty.